the part of the harassing communications was you sending the picture.
No,
Right.
no, it wasn't.
Okay, that's the question I gotta ask. The question is, how do you feel about that? That makes me lose respect for Martin.
If it was true.
If it was true, yeah. I didn't
So
say
now
it was
that
true.
he's saying
I
it
assumed it was true.
You
So
assumed
if
it
now that
was?
he's saying that it's not true, how do you feel about it?
I don't know if I believe Martin.
What happens when the person who thought they had everything under control suddenly loses it all? Imagine living a life where you call all the shots, where you believe you're smarter than everyone else, where you think you can bend the truth, twist reality, and still walk away untouched. Now imagine the moment when everything you've built on secrets starts to fall apart, piece by piece. That's exactly where Marsau Scott found himself. For years, he carried himself like a man who had it all figured out. The business, the family, the reputation, it all looked solid from the outside. But behind closed doors, whispers were growing louder, questions were piling up, and the one person who had stood by his side through everything was slowly starting to see a different side of him. LaTisha Scott wasn't just his wife, she was his partner, his supporter, his ride or die, or at least that's what everyone believed. But what nobody expected was that the same woman who once defended him through every rumor would one day be the one watching his world crumble and finally breathe again. Because this time, karma didn't just knock, it kicked the door wide open. To really understand how things got to this point, you have to go back to the beginning, back to when everything still looked perfect.
Once I started having people come to me, it was like, well, we've been offered money to come on the show and said we slept with your husband. I was like, oh my God, like this
Are you
is
serious?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Like, now I don't believe anything.
Marsau and LaTisha built an image that people admired. They weren't just another couple on reality TV, they were a brand, a power couple, the kind of duo that made people believe in teamwork, loyalty, and building something meaningful together. They talked about family values, they showed up as united, they pushed the narrative that no matter what came their way, they would handle it together. And for a while, it worked. LaTisha stood firmly by Marsau's side, even when the rumors started creeping in. People talked. They always do. There were whispers about late nights, questionable decisions, and behavior that didn't quite match the image he presented on screen. But every time something surfaced, LaTisha defended him. She smiled through it. She explained it away. She chose loyalty over doubt. And that's what made this situation so much deeper. Because when someone defends you that hard, when they ignore the red flags for you, when they choose to believe in you even when the world doesn't, that kind of trust isn't easy to rebuild once it's broken. Behind the scenes, things weren't as smooth as they looked. There were disagreements, tension, moments that didn't make it to the cameras, moments where LaTisha started to question things she once ignored. But like many people in long relationships, she tried to make it work. She believed in the bigger picture. She believed in him. And that belief would eventually be tested in ways she never saw coming. At first, the cracks were small, a strange transaction here, a vague explanation there, business decisions that didn't quite add up. Marsau always had an answer, but the answers started feeling rehearsed, too smooth, too convenient. And that's when things started to shift. LaTisha wasn't just listening anymore, she was paying attention.
I mentioned depression, and people are talking about, oh my God, it's a bad problem running rampant. And here's the reason why it's running rampant, right? It's because we don't know what it really is.
But here's the twist. While she was quietly observing, Marsau was getting more confident, more comfortable, almost like he believed he had everything under control. That was his biggest mistake, because while he was busy managing appearances, LaTisha was slowly connecting the dots. And once she started seeing the full picture, there was no going back. The real drama didn't explode overnight. It built slowly, like pressure inside a sealed container. Then one day, it burst. It started with financial questions, simple at first. LaTisha wanted clarity, transparency. After all, they were building a life and business together. She had every right to know what was going on. But instead of clear answers, she got deflection. Instead of honesty, she got attitude. And that's when suspicion turned into something stronger.
Wife, she my favorite on the show. Go find her then. Shit, where Tisha at? Tisha getting pampered. Yesterday's her birthday.
Let me check my goddamn.
Right. Because I know I got a private investigator following her little cheating ass. So I'm gonna find out because she wanna. Tisha ain't the kind of person that be sitting there taking that shit. She wanna just get back. She wanna cheat back. So I gotta watch her.
Determination. LaTisha began digging deeper, quietly, carefully. She wasn't making scenes or accusations, not yet. She wanted proof. She needed to be sure. What she found changed everything. There were inconsistencies in financial records, money moving in ways that didn't make sense, deals happening that she had no knowledge of, even though her name was somehow attached to them. And that's when the realization hit her. This wasn't just miscommunication, this was deception. But it didn't stop there. The more she uncovered, the more it became clear that Marsau had been operating in ways that went far beyond what she ever imagined. Side dealings, hidden agreements, decisions made without her knowledge, yet tied to their shared life. And the most painful part? He acted like she would never find out, like she would never question him, like she would just keep playing her role and stay quiet. But LaTisha wasn't that woman anymore. What nobody expected was how strategic she would become. Instead of reacting emotionally, she got smarter. She started documenting everything: conversations, transactions, patterns. She paid attention to the small details, the kind most people overlook, because she understood something important. If she was going to confront this, she needed more than feelings. She needed facts. And once she had them, everything changed.
Somehow, me going to talk to him about something is going to be a wake-up call.
When the truth finally came to light, it wasn't a quiet moment, it was explosive. Conversations turned into arguments. Arguments turned into confrontations. And for the first time, Marsau wasn't in control of the narrative anymore. LaTisha had receipts, and not just a few, enough to shift the entire dynamic. But here's where it gets even more intense. As things escalated, more people started getting involved. People who had seen pieces of the puzzle but never spoke up before. People who now felt like it was time to tell the truth. And suddenly, this wasn't just a private issue, it became something much bigger. Allegations started surfacing, questions about business practices, concerns about how things were handled behind closed doors. The situation was no longer contained, it was unraveling publicly. And Marsau, he couldn't talk his way out of it this time. Then came the moment that changed everything. The moment where it all became real.
Legal pressure. Because when situations like this reach a certain point, they stop being about emotions and start becoming about consequences. Investigations, reviews, scrutiny. Everything Marsau thought he had buried was being brought to the surface. And this time, there was no controlling the outcome, because karma doesn't work on your timeline. It shows up when it's ready. While all of this was happening, people couldn't help but watch LaTisha. They expected breakdowns, public outbursts, emotional chaos, but what they saw instead surprised them. She was calm. Not cold, not heartless, just calm, like someone who had already gone through the emotional storm and come out the other side. Because by the time everything blew up publicly, LaTisha had already done the hard part privately. She had already processed the betrayal. She had already made her decision. And now, she was standing in her truth. As the situation unfolded, one thing became clear. Marsau was finally being held accountable. The same confidence that once made him seem untouchable was now working against him. The same control he once had was slipping through his fingers. And for the first time, people weren't just hearing rumors, they were seeing consequences, real ones. For LaTisha, this wasn't about revenge, it was about closure. Because when you've spent years defending someone, believing in them, building with them, only to realize they were working against you the whole time, you don't celebrate their downfall, you find peace in the truth coming out. And that's exactly what this moment represented. Not joy in his pain, but relief in her freedom. The emotional impact of everything that happened runs deep. This wasn't just a relationship ending. This was years of trust being shattered, years of memories being re-examined, moments that once felt real, now feeling questionable. And that kind of emotional shift changes a person. LaTisha had to face the reality that the man she stood by wasn't the man she thought he was, that the life she believed in had cracks she chose not to see. But instead of letting that break her, she used it to rebuild herself, stronger, wiser, more aware. Because sometimes losing what you thought you needed is exactly what frees you. For Mars, the impact was just as powerful, but in a very different way. Reputation damage, trust lost, relationships strained. Because when the truth comes out, it doesn't just affect one area of your life, it touches everything. And rebuilding from that, it's not easy, especially when the people who once supported you start stepping back. In the end, this story isn't just about drama, it's about consequences. It's about what happens when actions finally catch up to you. It's about the moment when the truth becomes impossible to hide. And most importantly, it's about the strength it takes to walk away from something you once believed in and choose yourself instead. Because LaTisha didn't just survive this situation, she grew from it, she learned from it, and she showed something powerful in the process. That silence doesn't mean weakness, and patience doesn't mean ignorance. Sometimes it just means someone is waiting for the right moment to stand up. And now, that moment has come and gone. The truth is out, the consequences are real, and the roles have reversed. The man who once held control is now facing the results of his choices, and the woman who once stood in the background is finally standing in her power. So the question is, was it worth it? Was the secrecy, the deception, the risk worth losing everything? Or did Marsau truly believe he would never get caught? Because if there's one thing this story makes clear, it's this: you can only outrun the truth for so long. Eventually, it catches up. And when it does, it doesn't ask for permission, it just takes over. And as for LaTisha, she didn't need to shout. She didn't need to prove anything to anyone, because in the end, the truth spoke for her. And sometimes, that's the loudest victory of all. Let me know what you think. Was this karma long overdue, or did things go too far? Either way, one thing is certain: this story isn't one people will forget anytime soon.